Hello, my name is Kim Sajewski, and I was fortunate enough to be the recovery coach for Dianne Smith. When I had spoken with her, she was about 83 days post surgery. Typical patient that I talked to, frustrated, struggling, didn't know where to go, found us at X10 and just had she did her research. She was a great patient. She did her research, wanted to know what else she could do. And I was upfront and honest with her. We talked about her as far as where she was in her recovery, what she had been doing. She was in outpatient therapy. She was about 83 days post-op. She was only 0 degrees. She was 0 degrees extension, which she had full, but then she had about 103 degrees flexion. The unique thing about Dianne, and I have not seen before with the X10, is Dianne had 3 blood clots in her calf. She still had them when she came to us, and I told her I was concerned. I had never seen it before, but she had been in outpatient therapy. The surgeon told her there's nothing that they can do about them. She was on blood thinners, didn't give her any restrictions. And talking to Dianne and going through what she was going through in outpatient therapy, I knew the X10 would be way more gentle than the outpatient therapy was for her. She was being forced into manual stretching to the point that she was like, Kim, I was banging my hand on the mat table, telling her, tapping out. I'm tapping out like she was, in a wrestling match. And I said, I understood, and it's not the way to go, but it is what it is. And her and I just hit it off so well because we both said the same thing. As soon as I started saying it, she started finishing it for me. And I said, when patients continue, you have your trust with your therapist and things are going okay, but then things don't go so well. But then they keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Said that, and she said it right with me. She's like, that's the definition of insanity, to keep doing the same things over and over again and expecting something different, an outcome, something different. And we laughed, and she said, yes. She's like, I knew I couldn't keep doing this anymore. I was a young 60-year-old grandmother who wanted to play with their kids. I had places to go. I wanted to travel. I did this for a reason. My knee was so painful before surgery, and I did this because I want to get back to life. And she, unfortunately, she had this happen. So her leg, from the blood clots, her leg swelled up. She was suffering from swelling from quite a long time and very tender, wasn't getting anywhere with range of motion. She was set up real well. PJ had talked to her prior with or without the machine and just said, listen, whether you get the machine or not, you just have to stop doing what you're doing. Ride the bike 3 times a day. Just stop this forceful stretching. This pain mechanism is not going to stop. And she did. And so she decided to get the X10. And before she got the X10, she already had gained 9 degrees from doing what PJ had told her to do. So I was so happy. We're all a team here, so we want the best for the patient. And I was happy that she was able to gain that much range. And then from there, we talked about, now that she was excited, right? She gets all excited. She's gaining this range, and now she's getting a little bit ahead of herself. So that's where the coaching with my patients, with all the coaches do it. And sometimes we have to pull the rein back. It's a slow process, and the slow, not forceful process is what works. And the knee takes some time to slow down. It takes some time to get used to that. And it's not going to happen overnight. And I told her that. I said, it's not a miracle machine, but you have to give the knee some time to calm down. It has to reset itself again. And it has to realize that you're not doing something that is going to make it hurt and is not going to be painful. So once it starts to calm down and realize that it's okay what it's doing, and it's okay to go 1 degree at a time, everything starts to follow through. And so she did that. She was respectful of that. She trusted the process. She trusted that this was the road for her. She knew she couldn't get any worse than what she was. Maybe she could. I don't know if they kept forcing her, but she knew she wasn't going to go back to that. And I had spoken to her about her outpatient therapy as well. And I said, you know, if you have a good relationship with your therapist, just tell them that you have this machine. You can or cannot, you know, but just say, you know, let's just try not forcing my knee into a bend. Let's just try doing other things. Let's focus on the strength. Let's focus on hamstring flexibility, but not the bend. Let's not do that. And her therapist was very respectful of that. He listened and he said, okay. And soon all of these things started taking place, and her knee was calming down. She started to notice that she was walking better. But then when she went into PT, everybody's like, wow, you're walking so much better. You're more fluent. You're not stumbling. You're getting that full stride. And so she, you know, that really made her really happy, and she wanted to do more. But I'm like, Dianne, let's pull the reins back. And we talked about it, going slow and steady, and she continued that process. And then as the days went on, you know, she would call me up, and to me, you know, the numbers she was gaining. She was progressing well. She was progressing as she should, 1 degree at a time, thin tolerance. The knee was accepting it. But to me, the numbers, you know, mean a lot, but functionally meant even more. She was able to get in and out of her car. She's like, her husband said, you bounced out of the car like it was nothing. She was walking. She got to go down on the floor and play with her grandkids. And that just, I could hear the tears in her voice. She was just so happy that she was able to be down on the floor playing with her kids, her grandkids. And so 19 days? I think 19 days after she had the machine, she got to 0 and 130. She literally texted me that night a picture of her screen, and she's like, you have to celebrate this with me. And, you know, of course I called her and I said, oh my gosh, who would have thought this happened? And then 23 days after, her blood clots were gone. She called me once again. She's like, I don't know what happened. I don't care how it happened, but they're gone. My leg is no longer swollen. It's not painful. I can touch it. You know, anybody, you know, my grandkids touch my leg. I don't jump. And it's just, she feels like it's a miracle, you know, and she was so thankful of finding X10. And we had our doubts. We had our honest talks about, hey, you know, I can't promise you that this is going to get you to where you think you want to go and you want to be. But I can guarantee you it's going to get you better than what you were. And you just like you did, you got on that path, you trusted that process, and you did it. So.